Hey everyone, Selina here on this week's episode of Selena Thomas, SCV's HR Guru, where I bring the stories of our community's businesses and the people behind them to you. I have the great pleasure to speak to CEO founder of Lief Labs, Adele Villalobos. He is an innovative business owner that created the right formula of people within his company to help not only sustain in the COVID crisis but lead in it as a company within our community and nationally. It's a great inspirational story of a commitment to people and, of course, the people becoming empowered to serve as well. I hope you enjoy it. If you have a company, person, or product that you would like featured on the show, reach out to me, Selena Thomas, SCV's HR Guru, on the Signal. I'd love to feature them and share that story. In the meantime, enjoy this episode, continue to stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Adele, it's so nice to see you. Everyone, I want to take the time to thank Mr. Adele Villalobos, the CEO founder of Lief Labs, to our show today. Thank you so much. I know it's very busy time just getting everybody back on track, but thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
Selena, very glad to be here, and yes, I'm happy to take the time. Sometimes we get caught up in work a little too much, and sharing and spending some time talking about what we're doing. It's always a great opportunity and great way to express and talk about Leaf Labs.
Thank you so much. And I often speak to business owners here in our community about not only why they do business in Santa Clarita, but obviously their story, the backstory about who they are and who their company is. And so I would like to start there in sharing your story. I had a chance to read your bio, but it's always best from the person who lived it and who is still living, out the hard work, and it has come to fruition for you. Business of the Year, Chamber of Commerce, the opportunity for us to speak last week about how you created a culture in your company of constantly giving back, but most importantly, staying engaged. So tell me a little bit about you and Lief Labs.
Well, so I would say Leaf Labs about 13-year-old company, but what people don't see is that there was about 6 years of practice before that, 6 years of struggles, 6 years of learning the art of business or the science of business. I think it takes a little bit of both. Leaf Labs, we hit the ground running. I was fortunate enough to have gotten a lot of mentorship in those first 6 years, a lot of, I would say, failures, but luckily, none of them bankrupt type failures, but lots of struggles. So Adele Villalobos went to Cal State Northridge. I got a biochemistry degree and got into an industry that I immediately was embraced by. So it felt good to be wanted. The industry this was 96 when I first entered the industry. They were looking for to I'm going to say it was the coming of age of the industry. The FDA started regulating the industry in 2004. I'm sorry, the FDA started regulating the industry in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
I entered in 96, and it was a renaissance period. They were attracting a lot of scientists, a lot of people with nutritional backgrounds, and I felt welcomed. I felt it was my calling, and I think it allowed me to meet a lot of people who were just as passionate. And without realizing it, I was learning the value of like-minded individuals, like-minded passions. And I would say that early on, it was the right environment that created, I would say, some of the seeds that you can fast forward, and some things I use today at Lief. So biochemistry degree from Cal State Northridge. Started a company that for 4 or 5 years struggled a bit. And luckily, I was able to divest of that company, started Labs, and from the very beginning, not that I felt failure was not an option, but from the very beginning, I felt, I'm going to say, confident, and I felt that I could take chances. I approached business differently, and I'm gonna fast forward, and I'm passionate about the industry, but what allowed us to get to where we are today, as you mentioned, we've been very very fortunate and very humbled to have been acknowledged by the Santa Clarita Chamber of Commerce. We work very closely with the Santa Clarita Economic Development Center, but we also work very closely with the San Fernando Valley. We also, because a lot of our employees, also come from the San Fernando Valley, and then working with LA to make sure that we create an environment that's not only prosperous for our company but for the community as well. So I know you asked me a little bit about myself, but I'm running I'm running in my mind how we got here. So early on, it was finding the right mix of individuals, and that took us a couple of years. And what are those individuals? There were value systems that I believe I brought into the organization, or to the humble beginnings of Lief. And over time, if you stay in business long enough, you identify those values a little better and you hire for those values. And then you have fun together. And even though there's struggles, you have people that think alike or just as
Sure.
similar vision, similar passions, and similar value systems. Together, you begin to create things that are greater than just
The
me
company, sure.
as the
And I
founder.
think I think it speaks to the fact that you as a company create formulas for wellness and health, and attributes in the way that you're describing your business are the same in terms of creating the right formula of people in your business, but also the right culture. And I know when we had an opportunity to talk prior, the culture really stood the test when we had this COVID crisis. And you spoke to about your commitment to the employees in your leadership during that time, but also theirs to the rest of the employees. Can you describe a little bit about what it was like for Leaf Labs to go through the COVID crisis and where you are now?
I like the way you put it, Selena. It is, we create formulations to improve our health. We also have a formula to improve the environment here at Leaf, and not just for Leaf, also for the community. And so COVID was a scary time for all of us. I'm sure we all have our COVID stories. At Leaf, there was a concern. I was concerned. I was concerned for, one, the health of your family. That's important, but the well-being of the organization, and then the well-being of your employees, the people that you work together with every day. And what happened early, again, you put the right mix of leadership in the organization, and you come up with the right formula. There was a young leader in the company that immediately said, "Look, we need to not show fear," and he's right. As leaders, fear can stop you from acting, can stop you from moving, it can paralyze. And as soon as that was mentioned, I realized, yes, the fear that I may have felt, if the organization, if our team members are feeling the same thing, and they're having similar fears for their family, then they look to leaders to help create direction, to create some level of visibility to the future. And that, I would say, it shocked me into action. And immediately it was, we will thrive, we will survive this, but we will also create an environment where staff could come and feel normal, some level of normalcy. So we COVID was not COVID, the disease, did not scare us. COVID, the disease, was a barrier and a challenge to us achieving the vision for the organization, that if we were going to continue as an organization, is still the direction. We may have changed a couple of things here. We changed our environment. We may have changed the way we work. We allowed people to work from home, but the vision was still the same. So what I learned from my leadership team was that, hey, are we going to stay in business? If the answer is yes, then it's onwards and forwards. And I believe that solidarity, that winning mentality, that championship mentality that we've always had, really came across the leadership team, became infectious, and we began to hear little pockets of individuals saying, "Wow, coming to work takes me away from the noise
Sure.
and the turmoil that's happening at home, at the grocery stores, and
Sure.
our community." So we realized that if we strengthened Leaf and we empowered our staff to feel like leaders in their own home, in their own environment, then we're doing our job for the community. And we not only did we confront the issues of COVID, and we adapted and we made changes, but we thrived during COVID and continued
And
to do.
you modeled something that not only just was inward, but it spread outward, which I think is part of why, as the business of the year, that the community could look upon certain companies in our community as leaders in the crisis. And that we could never write that script out. We could never have predicted something like that. But certainly now that we have had an opportunity to reflect, continue that momentum. And I think that's what I heard you say when we spoke prior and then today. And kudos to the leadership within your company and you truly, even from the top down, recognizing that leadership was what made the difference for not just yourselves, your internal community there, but for the rest of the community. And I want to talk a little bit about the fact that everyone now in a post-COVID world, especially with the medical crisis that this basically told us all, we needed to have better health and wellness. That separate from the vaccination, as a whole, as an individual, we had to take personal responsibility for our health and wellness. And you're an industry leader in that. So can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, I again fortunate to be in an essential business. We realized very early and information. So we were seeking information, right? That when COVID hit, it disrupted our community, disrupted stores, our environment, the supply chain, how people purchase, and we got word very early that vitamin C was immediately within weeks the shelves were empty. So so not only was there a solidarity in that we were going to continue on our mission to be a manufacturer to keep our staff employed, we didn't let people go. Although initially we thought, how many people do we need to let go? Those were some of the discussions we were having. Instead, we talked about, no, we're essential. Why don't we identify how we can serve our industry better? So we immediately started developing products that we felt the consumers were looking for. So now, think of the consumer that's a wellness consumer that cares about their health, but some that were not paying attention to their health, and they want to feel empowered. You want to do something. Doing nothing in a state of fear and freezing is not a good idea. So people empowered themselves, and they started taking vitamin C. We quickly identified through our scientists and our product developers and our nutritionists that vitamin D was critical. Not only was it vitamin C, so we started developing formulas that we felt were going to be good for the community, and we immediately sold out of those. And these weren't products that are normal business. We decided to shift and do things for the community. We started donating to hospitals for their essential workers, for our frontline workers. Actually, we were donating to frontline workers first, to hospitals, to fire departments, to police stations. So we were developing products that they can take themselves and take back to their families. So these weren't products for sale. Eventually, and we also did it for our own employees. Our employees knew that we were a health-based business, and they were asking, hey, is there anything we can take? So our product development team took this to heart, and we were developing these products for frontline workers. We were donating it to them, and we were donating to our staff on a regular basis to make sure that not only did we confront this physically, we kept coming to work, but we also confronted our immune system, and also emotionally. We were employees were empowered, and we were empowering the community, and we were serving the community. And that, I'm going to say that I'm very proud of our team. This wasn't me. All of these ideas came from leadership team, came from employees, came from talking to the community. It wasn't me who was driving this. And I'm going to look back. It was an organization that I feel has the right culture. We're here to serve. As a company, that's what we do. We manufacture and we serve end consumers by creating health food products. But everybody in this organization feels that they contribute to that. And so I'm going to say that's what happens when you have the right group of people in an organization. There was fear initially, but then it was, wait, we're essential. We have a duty. We have a responsibility. what can we do? And that type of mentality inspires me to
Absolutely.
continue to move forward and continue to want to reach, our vision to take care of consumer health and take care of the community. And if we do that, then it'll take care of our organization, which takes care of our staff.
And I
And I
think I
would
love
say,
the word that you use in terms of empowering them, because you're providing this opportunity, and not just being a leader, but allowing them to lead themselves, allowing them to lead their homes, allowing them to pay forward what they are learning at work. And I think the the biggest takeaway in COVID this year, with business owners like yourself, companies that said we're going to take the lead on being a part of the solution and not the crisis, it lent to a more infectious, and no pun intended, opportunity for the community to come together. And it was truly, from the outside looking in, it allowed Santa Clarita to be a leader in this crisis on a national level. Because I want to speak to the fact that your product is national, and it just allows you to extend what you created here in our amazing valley to the nation. And so, can we talk a little bit about that in terms of where people can find your products, and then, of course, how you're going to continue to extend and expand that?
so Selena, you're right. We our the duties that we felt accountable towards as an organization, community first. So local community is where we employ, and the individuals and the talent and the passion of our local community. And you're right, Santa Clarita has done an incredible job. The talent pool in Santa Clarita has continued to expand. The quality of employee, the quality of skilled employee, labor employees, executive level employees. The quality of life in Santa Clarita is great. So community first, because we need the local community for us to thrive as an organization. But that same local community, when we took it upon ourselves to realize our commitment as an essential organization, we needed to deliver products, and it wasn't just locally. We donated locally, but our products are distributed throughout the country and even other countries. Our sales internationally also grew because other countries were looking for immune products to take care of their health. As COVID has evolved into a health crisis, where the healthier you are, the less of a burden COVID is to your system. I
Sure.
think it has awakened individuals to take their health matters into their own hands. They need to empower themselves, and we need to think health first. So our products, because we're not a brand, we're a contract manufacturer. We manufacture for companies that distribute throughout to the many brands that sell to the end consumer. But you're right, it wasn't just a local community, but that's very important to us. And what we did during COVID, not only didn't let anybody go during the time, because of COVID, we actually grew as an organization. Our average, I believe, a year before was about 125, 150 employees pre-COVID, which is temp employees and consistent. We are over 200 Lief staff and over 300. So we've more than doubled in size.
That's
And
incredible.
that's something that we're very proud of, that we can support. And like you said, Santa Clarita was leading. I think it's because of the quality of the people that are here in Santa Clarita. We were able to thrive. And as an organization, we knew that the restaurants also needed to adapt and needed our support. And what we would do to employees, so that they didn't feel that they needed to go out to restaurants during COVID, we were buying locally, and we were feeding our employees by buying from local restaurants and getting food brought in, so that if they felt that they didn't want to leave, or a lot of the restaurants were closed, we were supporting the local restaurants and buying multiple times a week for our entire staff. We were buying lunch. So we did that throughout 2020. And again, Lief wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for the talent of the local community and the support that we get. We felt that we needed to give back as well. But Lief, as well, during this time, we've launched our Lief Cares program,
Okay.
which we will develop products that we can fundraise
Sure.
for areas in need. We have our charity events, and Lief Cares is a program that we will develop products, and we will produce products that have health benefits, and then we will team up with a brand, or we'll team up with local community to be able to share our philanthropic ways to be able to support charity organizations that can benefit from health products.
And always paying it forward. It's such an inspiration to speak to business owners such as yourself, someone that had a vision, a passion for people and community, and of course, finding that right niche and your purpose. It has spawned into not just an opportunity to serve this community, but other communities, and it creates an infectious attitude to pay that forward. I want to thank you so much for taking the time today to speak to us. I'm so honored to be able to share your story, and of course look forward to the great things that now this crisis has said, we're going to constantly give back and have this attitude about providing opportunities for people to be empowered. I love that. Thank you so much, Mr. Adel V. Alobos. I appreciate you and your time today.
Thank you, Selina. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.